So, how much time and honestly, like, how much money do you spend trying to perfect your golf swing?
Oh, man. For most people, it's a small fortune.
Right. I mean, think about it for a second. You buy the oversized titanium driver, you pay for those expensive swing analysis
The
sessions.
hourly rates on those are insane.
Exactly. And you spend hours on the driving range tweaking your grip, your stance, your shoulder rotation.
Or, you're just spending a fortune on ibuprofen trying to eliminate that nagging lower back pain.
Yeah, that ache that just magically flares up every time you reach the back nine. But, like, what if the root cause of that nasty slice or that lingering ache isn't your swing mechanics at all?
It rarely is, honestly,
Right. What if it has absolutely nothing to do with the club in your hands and literally everything to do with the unseen foundation you're standing on?
which forces a complete paradigm shift in how we approach the sport.
Oh, for sure.
Because we are culturally conditioned to look at the arms, the shoulders, the hip rotation, the club head speed.
We obsess over the aerodynamics of the equipment.
Exactly. But we rarely look down at the grass, which is ironic because from a purely physical standpoint, the feet are the absolute anchor of every single movement in the game.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because our mission today is to completely deconstruct the kinetic chain of a golf swing from the ground up.
Ground up, correct.
We're diving into the biomechanics of foot health in golf, examining the actual physical toll this game takes on the human body, and exploring why custom-engineered orthotics might just be the most critical yet, like, completely ignored piece of golf equipment for players of all ages and skill levels.
It's a massive blind spot for most players.
It really is. And to get to the bottom of this deep dive, we're drawing on the clinical expertise and some really targeted material from Michael L. Ashley. He's a certified podorthist who specializes in custom orthotics for golfers right in the DFW area.
Yeah, and the foundational premise here in his work is rooted in basic physics.
Right.
I mean, in golf, your feet are your only point of contact with the earth.
The only point.
Exactly. Every ounce of power you generate, every degree of rotation you make, it all relies completely on the stability of that single connection point.
Makes sense.
So if that anchor is compromised in any way, I mean, the entire kinetic chain is compromised before you even begin your backswing.
I want to visualize this because it took me a minute to like really grasp the physics involved here. It's essentially like trying to fire a cannon out of a canoe.
The canoe, that is perfectly put.
Right. Like, it doesn't matter how powerful the cannon is or how perfectly you aim it. If the canoe beneath it is rocking on the water, the cannonball is just going to go completely sideways.
It's just going to miss.
Yeah. You have to stabilize the base before you can harness the firepower.
That analogy hits the nail on the head. And what's fascinating here is what makes golf so particularly brutal on that canoe, so to speak, is the specific combination of forces the body is subjected to.
Because you aren't just standing there.
No, not at all. Golf is actually one of the very few athletic endeavors where you are demanding two entirely different extreme physical outputs simultaneously.
Okay, like what?
Well, first, you have the sheer endurance aspect. I mean, you are spending 4 to 5 hours on your feet, walking several miles.
Navigating uneven terrain, climbing in and out of sand bunkers.
Exactly.
And most people, they don't even consider walking 18 holes to be an endurance sport. But biomechanically, it absolutely is.
It is a massive endurance load on the lower extremities, but then, layered directly on top of that prolonged endurance requirement, you are repeatedly generating violent, explosive rotational force.
Which is the swing itself.
Right. Think about the mechanics of the swing. You plant your feet firmly, and then you twist your torso against that planted resistance to create massive torque.
Yeah,
And you do this 80, 90, maybe 100 times around, depending on your handicap.
hopefully closer to 80.
We can hope. But that specific combination, right, long-duration weight-bearing plus extreme high-speed twisting, it places just an incredible amount of sheer stress on the feet, the ankles, the knees, and the hips.
Which brings up a fascinating paradox about modern golf equipment. Because golf shoe manufacturers are, like, absolutely obsessed with exterior traction, right?
Oh, completely.
They add these aggressive cleats, intricate tread patterns, specialized rubber compounds to ensure the bottom of the shoe grips the wet grass like absolute glue.
It's all about the grip on the outside.
Yeah, but then they leave the interior of the shoe almost entirely flat and hollow.
That's wild.
It is. You have this ultimate unyielding grip on the earth on the outside, but your actual foot is just sliding around, collapsing inward and absorbing all that violent torque on the inside.
And you've just identified the exact mechanism of injury for millions of casual and professional players.
Really? Just that sliding?
Yeah, because when the shoe is locked to the ground, but the foot is allowed to pronate or shift inside the shoe during that violent rotation, the joints above the foot are forced to absorb the shock.
Oh, wow.
Your knees, your hips, and your lower lumbar spine basically become the shock absorbers for a structurally unsound foundation.
That makes so much sense.
And that lack of internal support, it doesn't just cause fatigue. It leads directly to mechanical breakdown and chronic pain.
Okay, let's follow that breakdown because this is where the biomechanics get really wild to me.
Yeah, it's a domino effect.
If your brain is constantly dedicating processing power to dealing with an unstable base or, shifting your weight away from a painful spot, it cannot dedicate that same processing power to generating a smooth swing.
It's impossible. Your brain is distracted.
Right. And the source material we are looking at highlights some very specific, highly disruptive pain points that pop up when this internal support is missing.
Very specific ones, yeah.
And we're talking about things like plantar fasciitis, which is that excruciating tearing pain in the heel and arch, or severe forefoot pressure, like burning sensations across the ball of the foot.
The clinical data from Ashley's work also specifically points to Morton's neuroma, which is it's a severe nerve irritation, typically right between the third and fourth toes.
Ouch.
Yeah, patients often describe it as feeling like you are constantly stepping on a hot marble.
A hot marble. That sounds awful.
It is. And then there's a condition called hallux limitus or rigidus.
Okay, what is that?
It's a stiffening or basically an arthritic limitation of the big toe joint.
Right.
And in the context of a golf swing, a stiff big toe is just functionally catastrophic.
Okay, wait, I have to push back on that a little bit.
Sure.
Because I really struggle to believe that a sore toe actually changes, like a shoulder rotation.
I get that.
Right, because aren't those entirely disconnected muscle groups? Do people really change their entire golf swing just because their big toe hurts?
Yes, absolutely they do. It sounds disconnected until you look at how the central nervous system actually operates.
Okay, break that down for me.
The human brain is, first and foremost, a survival machine. It is hardwired to avoid pain at all costs.
Right, self-preservation.
Exactly. So if you have hallux limitus, bending that big toe joint during the follow-through of your swing is going to send a really sharp pain signal straight to your brain.
Oh, I see.
Instinctively, without a single conscious thought, your brain decides it is not going to let you bend that toe.
It just vetoes the movement.
It vetoes it completely. So to avoid the pain, your body subconsciously shifts your weight backward onto your heels during the downswing.
Wait, really? So you are altering your balance mid-swing just to protect the toe, and you don't even realize you're doing it?
Precisely. You have no idea. And in golf, a subconscious weight shift to the heels changes the entire geometry of your swing.
Because your balance is totally off.
Right. When your weight is stuck on your back foot, your hips cannot clear properly. They just stall out.
Oh, wow.
And because your lower body has stopped rotating, your upper body has to compensate to get the club head to the ball.
So the arms take over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you end up casting the club with your arms, coming over the top, and slicing the ball directly into the woods.
That is absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, you go to the driving range, you pay a coach, you hit bucket after bucket trying to fix your shoulder rotation and your arm path.
Spending a fortune.
Right. But your arms are only messing up because your hips stalled. And your hips only stalled because your brain literally refused to let you put pressure on a nerve in your foot.
You are fundamentally fighting your own nervous system's survival instincts.
It's the ultimate domino effect.
It really is. This is why the concept of subconscious compensation is the most critical takeaway for anyone listening who wants to improve their game.
Yeah, because how many of your mechanical flaws, like the slice, the fat shots, the early extension,
Right.
how many of those are actually just your body desperately compensating for a foundation that lacks structural integrity?
Most of them. If you have plantar fasciitis, you will alter your stance to protect your arch.
Which alters your knee alignment.
Yep, which limits your hip turn, which forces a swing fault. It's all connected.
So if pain and instability lock up the kinetic chain and force these destructive compensations, fixing the foundation must do the exact opposite.
That's the beauty of it.
If we numb or support that pain, we suddenly unlock all this trapped power. And this takes us from just talking about medical pain relief to talking about a massive, measurable performance upgrade.
That is the pivotal transition.
Yeah.
It really moves from being just a rehabilitative device to a piece of performance-enhancing sports equipment.
Right.
When you provide a stabilized, properly supported foundation, You remove the brain's need to compensate.
You take away the fear of pain.
Exactly. You allow the body's mechanics to operate freely. And in golf, a body that can move freely and consistently produces a repeatable swing.
Here's where it gets really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Looking at the specific performance improvements unlocked by these custom orthotics, like better balance at address, a much more grounded setup, cleaner weight transfer.
All crucial elements.
It made me think about high-performance sports cars.
Oh, I like that. Great.
Right. If you take a track-ready race car, it obviously has a rigid chassis, but it relies entirely on a highly tuned custom suspension system to keep the rubber pressed firmly into the asphalt during a high-speed, high-G corner.
If the suspension is soft or misaligned, the car just spins out.
Exactly. And I see these custom orthotics working exactly like that tuned suspension inside the stiff chassis of a golf shoe.
I love the sports car analogy because it perfectly illustrates the physics of energy transfer here.
Right.
Let's look at the setup at address. A repeatable golf swing relies entirely on a genuinely grounded stance.
The canoe has to be stable.
Yes. The custom orthotic is the suspension system that connects your unique foot structure to that stiff outer chassis of the shoe. It ensures that your weight is distributed optimally across the entire surface area.
So there are no pressure hotspots causing your brain to panic.
Exactly. And because your foundation is balanced and supported as you initiate the backswing and then transition violently into the downswing, your weight transfer is guided cleanly from the trail foot to the lead foot.
It's smooth.
Right. Energy isn't leaking out laterally because your foot isn't sliding sideways inside the shoe anymore.
Which means more power.
More power and better accuracy. When your weight transfer is efficient and clean, your ball striking becomes dramatically more consistent. You hit the center of the club face more often.
And that isn't just about feeling comfortable.
No, that is a direct, measurable advantage on the scorecard.
And let's not forget the endurance factor.
Oh, absolutely.
Maintaining that structural integrity on hole 16 or 17 when you're usually just exhausted. If your foot isn't constantly fighting to stabilize itself inside a flat shoe for 4 hours, your legs stay fresher.
Your posture doesn't break down at the end of the round.
Yeah.
Fatigue is the enemy of form. By reducing the muscular exertion required just to stand and walk on uneven terrain, you preserve your fast-twitch muscle fibers for the explosive moments of the swing itself.
Which begs the ultimate question, how are these things actually built?
Right.
Because clearly we're not talking about going to the drugstore, standing on the little kiosk, and buying a foam insert that you trim with scissors in your kitchen.
No, not even close.
To get this level of biomechanical tuning, there has to be some serious engineering involved. And this is where Michael L. Ashley's methodology really shines in the source material.
He brings a lot to the table.
He brings over 2 decades of expertise as a certified podorthist, and he's developed a very specific 3-phase clinical process to engineer these devices.
The clinical rigor is really what separates a true custom orthotic from an over-the-counter insole.
So what's phase 1?
The first phase of Ashley's process is a comprehensive precision foot and gait evaluation.
Okay.
And this isn't just, measuring your shoe size with a Brannock device. It is a detailed 30-minute assessment of your unique skeletal structure, analyzing your specific pressure patterns when bearing weight.
Wow.
And crucially, they evaluate how your foot functions dynamically during golf-specific movements.
Right, because they need to see how the foot acts under torque, not just how it looks when you're standing in line at the grocery store.
Exactly.
Which leads to the second phase, custom engineering. This involves 3D scanning technology to capture the exact topography of the foot.
The tech is amazing.
But I want to really dig into the engineering aspect here. So they don't just scan your foot. They actually craft the orthotic to match the rotational demands of your swing.
Yes. And that is the defining engineering challenge here.
What makes it different from an orthotic I might get for, jogging?
Well, think about it. If you are crafting a custom orthotic for a marathon runner, you are primarily designing for linear forward motion.
Right.
You are managing the impact of the heel strike and facilitating a smooth roll to the toe off. You're basically absorbing vertical shock.
Right. Running is essentially a straight line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But a golf swing is a violent, multi-directional event.
A lot of twisting.
Tons of it. So using the precise data from those 3D scans, the podorthist has to engineer specific structural elements into the orthotic to resist lateral sway.
Because you don't want to tip over.
Right. During your backswing, your trail foot desperately wants to roll outward. If it does, you lose your power coil.
Okay, so how do they stop that?
The orthotic might be engineered with a rigid, deep heel cup made of specialized carbon fiber or high-density polymers to physically block that outward roll.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they might use variable density foams, like softer in the forefoot to accommodate the pivoting motion, but incredibly stiff on the lateral edges to lock the foot in place.
So they are literally building a custom angled ramp to keep your kinetic energy contained and directed toward the golf ball.
That is exactly what they're doing.
That makes total sense. I mean,
Sure.
a running shoe orthotic would just completely collapse under the side-to-side twisting of a drive off the tee.
It wouldn't stand a chance.
And because golf shoes have a very specific, often narrow volume, these orthotics have to be engineered to integrate perfectly into that stiff chassis we talked about earlier.
Which brings us to the final phase.
Right. Phase 3, the final fitting and performance check.
Yeah, they actually physically fit and adjust the engineered orthotic into your specific golf shoes to ensure comfort, absolute stability, and just a seamless integration into your game.
They tune the suspension to the car.
They tune the suspension to the car. It is a meticulous, highly individualized process.
That sounds like
And it underscores a fundamental truth about human biomechanics. No two foot structures are identical,
Right.
and no two golf swings apply the exact same torque in the exact same places. You simply cannot effectively stabilize a complex rotational movement with a generic, mass-produced piece of foam.
You just can't. So, to pull all of these threads together, if you are tired of popping painkillers after walking a course, or if you are endlessly frustrated by swing mechanics that seem to just fall apart no matter how many lessons you take, you really have to look at the foundation.
You have to look down.
Yeah. Custom orthotics are not just for foot pain. They are engineered performance tools that eliminate the subconscious compensations ruining your swing.
They lock in your balance.
Exactly. And they give you the structural endurance to maintain your posture from the first tee all the way to the 18th green.
They are honestly the quietest, most effective way to ensure that the power you generate in your upper body actually makes it to the golf ball, rather than just being absorbed and wasted by an unstable base.
And if you are listening to this and realizing that you've basically been firing a cannon out of a canoe your entire golfing life, you need to seek out the right expertise to get your foundation mapped and stabilized.
That's a game changer.
It really is. For those in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Michael L. Ashley is the certified podorthist leading this exact charge. You can reach out directly to start that three-phase process.
I highly recommend it.
Just call or text him at 214-702-8812. Again, that direct line is 214-702-8812. Or you can explore the science further at his website, which is www.foot-footexpert.com.
Addressing the mechanical root cause of your swing faults, rather than perpetually treating the symptoms with new clubs or endless swing tweaks, it is really the single most efficient path to a better game.
So, what does this all mean for you and your weekend foursome? I want to leave you with a provocative thought that extends beyond just buying an orthotic.
Okay, let's hear it.
Think about the incredible millions of dollars poured into golf broadcasting and analytics today.
Oh, it's a massive industry.
Right. We have radar tracking the launch angle of the ball down to the decimal point. We have high-speed cameras analyzing the flex of a club shaft in super slow motion.
Every tiny detail.
Exactly. But if the entire swing is genuinely dictated by the unseen transfer of pressure in the feet, why aren't we seeing live biometric pressure mapping of professional golfers' feet broadcast during the Masters?
That is a great question.
If the secret to unlocking the kinetic chain starts in the ground, it really makes you wonder if the entire golf industry is looking in the wrong direction. Maybe the true future of golf analytics isn't flying through the air. Maybe it's hidden right down there in the grass.